Need cheap coins right now? Check out redzonecoins.com. For the very best discount available, use code DIRECTOR for 20% off. Hold up. 20% off? That's cheaper than any other YouTuber. Big ups to redzonecoins.com. Use code DIRECTOR. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Madden Ultimate Team fans, we're gonna do it again. Some more custom card art based around the FGA legends that have just come into the game. Now, if you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, there's a website called the Football Greats Alliance that EA has just recently partnered with. And with this deal, we're about to see a lot more new legends come into the game Madden Ultimate Team. I showed you guys all the Chargers legends I would love to see come from the FGA, so I decided let's go ahead and represent all of the other teams in the next two videos. Now, this first video is going to represent 16 teams. If your team isn't represented, make sure to put your recommendation in the comment section below, and we'll get them in part 2. Guys, before we get started, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. Brand new legends coming into the game via the FGA. If you guys are wondering which legends are eligible to get a card art for myself or come into the game, check out the link in the description and in the comments. You guys can search for yourself to see which legends from your favorite team. Let's get to the first name on this list, the legend from Atlanta. John Abraham. Now, we have seen John Abraham in the game before. I decided to do a custom card for him anyway because he was awesome, and he's not been in the era of Madden Ultimate Team where defensive ends with abilities are really, really good. So I think John Abraham would be an excellent selection for the Falcons. And keep in mind, guys, as we're going through this list, a lot of you guys help me pick these players via Twitter, because I don't know your guys' teams as well as you do. So be sure to hit me up at Kiwi_filmmaker before I put out my next batch. Next up, the man from Carolina. Mike Minter, defensive back for the Carolina Panthers. Mike Minter, I do believe he's coaching now. Now, in looking him up, I wasn't quite sure if he was legend status or more of a team diamond status, but a lot of guys via the Carolina Panthers fans wanted to see Mike Minter, so we're gonna give him the nod in this one. Next up, let's throw one to the Bears fans. Lance Briggs. Now, I remember watching Lance Briggs play. I don't think he retired too long ago. I think it was 2014. This guy was an animal. 7-time Pro Bowler for the Chicago Bears. This guy was so good. I think particularly in coverage as well. He was 6'1" and tacked on 16 interceptions in his career. We definitely use another guy that's decent in coverage out there. I think Bears fans would be very happy, get some more help at linebacker, and we get to play with Lance Briggs again. Next up, one for you Dallas Cowboys fans. Tony Dorsett. Now, the Cowboys fans, you guys got a plethora of really good running backs in your guys' history. Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith, and now Ezekiel Elliott. One of your fans in my comments mentioned they really want to see Tony come into the game. I think he would be an awesome addition. And funny enough, I'm seeing a lot of Cowboys fans saying you guys need him this year, even though you already have Ezekiel Elliott. So maybe that 1-2 punch is what you're really looking for. But Tony Dorsett doesn't really need any further explanation. The guy's one of the best to ever play. That's our pick for the Cowboys. Next up, let's throw one to the Broncos fans. Ryan Clady. Now, I remember Ryan Clady playing because he didn't retire too long ago either. I think it was somewhere around 2015. And of course, he's a guy that we saw all the time having played on the Denver Broncos. I would say this guy was one of the best offensive linemen in football for a while. I know he won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, 4 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros. The guy was fantastic. I also got to say, I pay a lot of respect to guys that choose offensive linemen as the legend that they want to see. As a Madden Ultimate Team, linemen are always super pricey. Therefore, they're very important in MUT as well. Next up, one fan favorite I saw all over my comments. Brett Favre, quarterback for Green Bay. Now, Brett Favre's another name on this list that maybe I shouldn't even have to explain. The guy was just such, I mean, really, am I talking about his freaking portfolio here? It's Brett Favre, one of the best to ever play the game. Now, it was really tough to pick between him and Bart Starr, but I feel like a lot of people know the name of Brett Favre, and I really feel like a lot of people would love to use this quarterback, regardless if he's on their team or not. But Brett Favre's gonna be the pick for the Green Bay Packers. Next up, another one for a division rival. Derrick Thomas. Now, I think Derrick Thomas's name was mentioned in the partnership release for EA and the FGA, so I have to fully expect that he's probably going to be coming into the game here very soon. I think he got like a limited edition card sometime way back. I'm talking like Madden 15 or 25. But to see him come back into the game, I feel a lot of people would be super excited to play with a Derrick Thomas in Madden Ultimate Team. So Chiefs fans, I hope you enjoy. Next up, another division rival. We're just going to take care of the entire AFC West this video. Jim Otto, another really cool pick at offensive line. I feel like Jim Otto's a huge name among the Raiders community. Definitely one of those way back when legends that's definitely held respect throughout the years, even throughout the decades. And this one was fun, man. Like, I saw this photo, I was like, man, this is, for a Raiders player, this is pretty fun. Let's get Jim Otto in the game, offensive lineman for the Raiders. Next up, one that we saw last week with my Chargers videos. Lance Allworth. Now, Lance Allworth made the top 100 last year. We had a top 100 promo for Madden Ultimate Team. He didn't get a card, so I'm thinking there's a good chance that he comes into the game. Another thing to point out here is that this is the 91 overall card art. I wanted to do this for all players, but really realistically, a lot of these players, it's really hard to find photos for, and having two photos, you know, in the same card, just a little bit too much work, but I hope you guys enjoy anyway. But anyway, so we got Lance Allworth for the Chargers. He'd be an incredible wide receiver, probably the best jumping in the game by far. They called the man Bambi. Next up, a player that served as a master in past Maddens. Ricky Williams, one of the best running backs of all time. I posted this as a teaser on my Twitter asking for more recommendations, and I've already seen Dolphins fans going crazy. He's such a beast, man. Like I mentioned, he was a master at some point in Madden Ultimate Team, and he was really one of the best cards in the game. To have him back now with abilities, you know, fully beefed up and cammed up, he would be an absolute animal in Madden Ultimate Team. Next up, New England needs a quarterback, right? No? Well, we're gonna give him one anyway. Drew Bledsoe, quarterback. Now, this one kind of shocks me because we had some Patriots fans in the comments really wanting another quarterback, but this one with crazy good throw power. And that can be understandable. You know, Tom Brady's great, but now he's with the Bucs, and his throw power is really lackluster. From what I can tell, Drew Bledsoe was an awesome deep pass quarterback, superior arm strength, and he would fit in a couple of different theme teams as well. That's our pick for the Patriots. Next up, the Giants, with the pick that honestly kind of shocked me. Amani Toomer. Now, honestly, I didn't know much about Amani Toomer before doing this video, so I got a little bit of a history lesson here. But Amani Toomer, wide receiver, generally considered one of the fastest wide receivers in football. I think he was like an Olympic track star or something like that too, even though he only clocked a 4.5 at the Combine, which is kind of being pushed as proof that the Combine was imperfect at the time. Still, he was known as one of the faster wide receivers and one of the most elite kick returners in football. But kind of interesting there, I got to learn a little bit about a new player, and I'm sure Giants fans would love a really speedy wide receiver to add to their theme teams. Next up, another quarterback on this list. Joe Namath, perhaps the most famous Jet of all time. I still see him on commercials today. I mean, really, you can't watch Family Feud without seeing Joe Namath at least a couple of times. This guy is so legendary for the Jets fan base. I'm sure everybody would freak out. I think he was also on that initial announcement post from the FGA announcing their partnership with EA. So the chances that we do get a Joe Namath are pretty high. And he would be a great item in Madden Ultimate Team, man. Joe Namath, I know a lot of people would be super excited about it. And again, he's one of those players I think people would roll with even if they don't have a Jets theme team. So it's going to be Namath for the Jets. Next up, let's throw one to the Seattle Seahawks. Cortez Kennedy. Now, Cortez Kennedy played defensive tackle for the Seahawks for quite some time. Again, a player that I didn't really know much about, but got to know a little bit while doing my research on the card art. Definitely a beast for a long time for the Seattle Seahawks. I think he recently passed away as well, so what better way to, live his memory on through Madden Ultimate Team, get to see that player back on the field, and fill a position that's maybe a little bit scarce for the Seattle theme team. Awesome choice right there. Next up, one for the Tennessee Titans fans. I know you guys would love this. Steve McNair, legendary quarterback. There's a lot of quarterbacks on this list, but I'm kind of letting you guys pick the players in this instances, and there's a lot of fan favorite quarterbacks that could be eligible for this program. Now, Steve McNair, one of the best of all time to play for the Tennessee Titans. Now, I know of the history that happened with Steve McNair, and it's absolutely tragic, and I completely understand why these guys want to see him back in the game. I feel very much so the same way about Junior Seau, seeing him back in the game. It represents, something very special to me as a football fan, a Seau fan, and a Madden Ultimate Team fan. So I say bring it on, man. Let's make sure we get Steve McNair in the game this year. And last but not least, one for the Washington football team. John Riggins. The dude was a thumper back in the day for the Washington football team for a very long time, man. He played halfback and fullback for his teams. This guy was an absolute monster, man. Almost every time I do card art, I hear some requests for John Riggins to come into the game. My biggest question for you guys in the comments that are, Washington fans, would you want him at fullback or halfback? I think either way, he should have a secondary chem to allow him to get the other position as well. But I think having a fullback with John Riggins' resume and speed and all the stuff combined would make the best fullback in the game this season. That's the one for the Washington football team. Well, guys, remember, if I did not list a player for your team, leave your recommendation in the comment section below. Stay frosty on Twitter. I always post a teaser when I'm actually making the art, so you guys can give me your input as well. And this is one where, honestly, I kind of need your guys' help, because you guys know your teams way better than I do. And so I think if you guys help me select the players that are on this website that best represent your fan base, I think everybody would be really happy with the selections in the end. Well, guys, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out if you do enjoy this content, the card art, everything in between. Thank you guys again so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.